After hours of playing, studying, and breaking down R6, I've put together the most unique tip for every defender in CJX. Since you guys enjoyed the attacking video and asked for a defender one, I made it happen. Now, I spent way more time on this than I expected, so let's aim for 500 likes. You guys are going to get more out of this video than I ever will, so make sure you send this to your Broken Condom 5 teammate, and let's get right into it. Thorn has finally gotten a buff. WWWW. You know what you can do now? You can pocket some of your Thorns. Why? Because they're basically a grenade. You throw one down, it blows up a second later. I'm going to show it on screen in a second, but you hold 4 of them now. Chuck 2 of them somewhere, then hold on to the other 2 for being able to be offensive, not just holding people out of sight. And I'm telling you, this works. The other day, I banned Thorn for the first time ever. Now for Melusi, you can do this tech tip, including Goyo. By placing them down at the same exact time, the Melusi will get covered by the Goyo, and the only way to break the Melusi is if they shoot up the Goyo. Meaning, a bunch of time gets wasted, W's all around the board. For this castle tech, you're going to need to prep a barricade. If you didn't know, it takes 8 hits to prep a castle barricade. I think you can see where this is going. The whole point of this is to catch opponents off guard. You can do this for a plant, you can do this for someone running through somewhere, and you're like, run through and kill them. In this example, they're planting a bomb because it looks better. Why are dock mains always roaming off of sight? Why do they never heal their teammates? Why do they always save their stems for themselves? I don't understand. Your whole role is keeping your team alive. I'm glad you don't got ACOG anymore. If you didn't know, also, you got infinite range with the stems. So you being across the map should not be an excuse for why you can't heal your teammates. Please, just heal your freaking teammates. It's not hard. It's not difficult, bro. You're gonna survive with not having 6 HP in your health bar. Have you ever thought about putting Lesion mines on windows? Not only does this break the window, but the people who are on rappel, as long as they don't see the goo mine, which, let's be honest, who's gonna expect a goo mine on the outside of a window? Attackers, they're not able to take the goo mine out while on rappel, which will make them have to drop all the way down, and you sitting on a window near them, you can jump out, pop them. Now this tech can be done with any operator, but with Aruni's Mega Fister, this can be done super easily and you lose nothing. I prefer to do it with a bulletproof camera. It makes them, kind of viable, low-key. Just punch 2 holes in the wall, place the gadget right in the middle. You can combine this with any operators. This works great with Melusi as well. Also, you can put your Arunis on rotates. I don't see that enough. So I have been wondering for the longest time, how do you actually make pixel peaks with Azami? You see TikToks or Instagrams or even YouTube shorts, and they're talking about, oh, this is how you make a Azami pixel peak. And then they have the thing already set up, and then they're just like, oh, this just gets you free kills. So on screen here, if you want to rewind it, this is a visual because nothing that I can really say can explain what's happening besides showing you. Alright, so this is the comparison compared to doorways to hard breaches so that you have 2 different ways of measuring basically. So if you need to rewatch it for doorways specifically, rewind it. And just so you know, in case you're brain dead, I'm doing this facing barrels on Oregon. Alright, so place your Kiba at the way bottom. You need to be crouched, and you'll look straight at the ground as far down as you can. Look at this third little circle thing. I don't know exactly what it's called with the hard breach, but walk over to the middle, place that. Bang. Now you got it. I did this in a bad spot because it was right in front of a port in the wall, but normally this would be a free way to look through. So there you go. So you know how Oryx is able to bust through soft walls and furniture and stuff like that? Well, this actually goes for shields as well. I did not know this because no one ever uses shields. So if you want to have a little Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, just play Oryx and place a shield. Look at this, ready? Jäger's a pretty straightforward op. None too special about him. You place this thing, breaks projectiles, and then, comes back to life or whatever. So the biggest tip that I got for Jäger, after you place down his projectile breaker, pick it back up and place it back down again. Normally, without picking it up and placing it down, it takes 10 seconds. And obviously, the situation you're in can vary on if this is a smart thing to do or not. But if you have the opportunity to pick up your Jäger and place it down again, you'll go from 10 seconds to about 6 to 7 seconds. Oh, 6, 7. Off of the new update, I think Echo got the biggest buff. He got an extra drone. Like, really? We got 3 Echo drones now. Massive news for the unemployed. One of my biggest tips that I gave for Echo players is don't place your stuff all on the ceiling. They're pretty easy to find. You want to try and hide them, you know, underneath desks or furniture or really anything to where they're kind of out of the way until you need them. You know, pop them out, jump up, hit them, pop them back down. But now that we have 3, you might as well put 2 on the ceiling and then leave 1 hiding somewhere. You know, then if they don't shoot out the Echo drones, you got an extra one hiding under furniture to pop out and hit people anyways. So whatever, doesn't even matter. We're just giving everyone a buff and everyone's just...
Smoke is a great operator for separating opponents. Let's say there's 2 different people in this scenario. There's one around this corner and there's one through this doorway. Chuck a smoke at the doorway so that that person cannot push you. All right, turn the corner, bang, separated. Now, normally for operators, you know, they have lungs. Skopos is a robot, so she can't breathe. She also can't walk. But with this information, people like Smoke and Fenrir, their abilities where the operators have to breathe in the smoke or the gas that Fenrir has. I was going to show Fenrir's gas being active, but the chances to where an opponent activates Fenrir's ability while Skopos is inside of it is 1 to none. So I thought I'd show something that actually makes sense and that you would see in real games. Also, you gain full HP when you switch robots. I don't know if people understand this. They usually don't use Skopos, actually. Never mind. Solis, I believe, is my least played defender, so this is new information for me as well. Guess what this is? Can you guess? Do you understand what you're looking at right now? If you don't, it's Blitz. Turns out, as long as Blitz's shield is in front of him and not on his back, if it's on his back, you're not able to see him. But if his shield is in front of him, you have wall hacks on Blitz. This is very interesting news for me. I did not know this. This also works for Nook. She's a lot less played compared to Blitz, but when Nook's ability is active, not all the time compared to Blitz, but when Nook's ability is active, you will see her moving around, being sleazy underneath sight on the opposite side compared to where everyone is at. You can overclock. This is a thing showing, you know, how far overclocking goes or just scanning in general. I didn't even realize you had this much range with Solis. I don't use her at all. So, yeah. Also, you can use it for plant. I think this is more of a known thing, but I haven't recorded, so I'm throwing it in.
Now, one of the biggest issues that I have with Pulse is that they throw the C4 and then they do nothing for the rest of the round. I don't like Pulse people, but if you're going to play Pulse, use a shotgun. Not only if the C4 hits or misses, but you can continue to sit down below and still shoot people, whether or not you kill anyone because you're Pulse.
At the time of this upload, besides Thatcher getting a rework, Denari is still the newest operator in the game. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have time to just sit in a lobby and try out anything possible to find some little tech tip to show you. Sorry, but I have a life outside of making videos, even though most of my life involves making videos. 20-meter radius, that's how far the Denari spans, which is pretty far. And also, you can place Denaris on stairs. This only works if you're walking downstairs. If you walk upstairs, the opponent's gonna see. But if this is a staircase where you think operators will be walking down, great thing to do for stairs. That was a whole lot of yapping. The last thing you gotta know about the Denaris on stairs is make sure the stairs have a little lip, just at the end of them.
Now, Goyo's secondary gadgets are honestly not the best, but I will be honest, when I play Goyo, I do this, like seriously. Now, I put this Goyo and procs here just to show what it looks like from the side, and as you can see, you can shoot the proximity mine out pretty easily, but straight up looking directly at the Goyo, it makes it difficult for the enemy to decide whether or not they want to break the Goyo. This is good for long hallways and stuff like that. Either way, you know the Goyo's gonna get broken, but that's the whole point of his ability anyways.
This tip for Mira is pretty known, I feel, but is very underutilized. Placing C4s on the outside of a Mira inside of the soft wall can catch opponents off guard. You're probably not going to be able to do this every single time. If it's the first or second round on defending, you can probably catch someone off guard. Don't do what I did though and shoot the soft wall. You don't want to do that. You are able to hear the Mira noise. Watch out for that. But once they come up and punch the Mira, blow that bitch up. Easy kill. If you're an Alibi user, you already know this. But if not, this is going to be news to you. What's wrong with what's happening right now? I can't tell. What's the issue? These are just decoys, aren't they? Chat, what's wrong with these? I don't know. Whatever. Not my fault. I'm just greatest player of all time, ain't I? You want to know the difference between a good Warden player and a bad one? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. You know he's got an ability, right? Yeah, I didn't either. Wow, crazy. An operator has their own unique ability that you use to get the advantage on people. Well, yeah, that was the difference between someone that didn't use their ability, and that's the difference of someone being good at the game and not being good at the game. Now, if you watch this video because you're wanting information or because you're wanting entertainment or whatever the reason is, thank you so much. But also, I'm saying this now, if you don't know this trick, you have a long way to go, bro. This is one of the most basic tips that you should know. And I'm throwing it in here because there's quite a bit of people that don't know it. With your bandits, place them as far as you can from each other. This makes it more difficult for them to EMP. Now, unless they play Thatcher, they're going to have to EMP specifically one side, meaning you have the chance to react and electrify the wall again before they try and EMP the opposite side. Dubs. I will say, I play Cav all the time. I love her. Probably a little biased. She's great. Make sure you run the shotgun. Instead of the SMG, you two-tap people. Once I switched to the shotgun, I was able to compete in close range. Also, you have the pistol for long range. Use it. Not just when you have your ability activated. I am still sad about the rework that Clash got after Siege X was released. One of the biggest pros about her change, though, is that you're now able to 1v2, 1v3, etc. people. You can cut off sides and make it to where you can focus on a specific side without getting finesse from behind. In this example, we got Sledge. You know, I had to rage bait, and looking back at it, it was a pretty dumb idea to try and rage bait on a Siege video, because if I play Siege, it makes me want to die. So I might as well play Siege instead of rage bait people on Siege, because I'd get mad. But in this example, you're able to, you know, separate yourself, make it to where you only have to focus on a specific side. RIP Clash. Oh my god, they gave her hair. Anytime I see a good Ela player, they're always holding on to their concussion mines. Just like Thorn, the timing for when they blow up after they're placed is pretty quick. So using them against shield rushes or just 1v1s in general, it gives you the upper hand, you know, because concussed. What you need to keep in mind about Fenrir's FNATs is that they need to be in line of sight with the enemy. Doesn't matter if they're placed in a radius where it says, you know, they'll be activated when an operator comes near it. Showing on screen, you know, they're in the radius of the FNAT, but they have to be literally in the line of sight with the FNAT. Keep that in mind. The FNATs on top of this will be activated from the head down. I'll show it in a later clip. One of the best spots to put the FNATs is at foot level. It makes them have to crouch down, you know, they have to lower themselves, look in a different direction compared to where enemies are, making them almost impossible to shoot out. Keep this in mind as well.
All right, now this is what I was referring to. The FNAT is above the operator, and with the shelf being where it's at, it cannot be activated until the person is literally in the line of sight. So just remember, line of sight. Wolves.
People I don't think see that Tachanka is actually a viable operator to play when you use him correctly. Everyone that plays him that I see, they see a person, bang, 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 bang. Oh my god, there's a guy, blah. What I'm showing on screen now is if you decided to spread out your Tachankas in a timely manner, you know, to actually block off a side to where they cannot push in that side until you're out of ammo. It will last. Whatever the timer says, I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to continue to increase my watch time. So, what's up, guys? How's your day going? My night is going good. It is 12 in the morning. I woke up at 5 p.m. 210 seconds. Keep in mind, a round lasts 3 minutes, so 90 seconds left to react. They're cooked. Frost players, please make jumping rotates instead of normal rotates, and then placing your frost mats just on the floor. Everyone can see them, including me, including you, including your grandmother. You might as well just not even play her, because your ability is not helping the team at all. Make rotates that are vaultable, and also try and place them towards one edge. I'm showing it on screen now. I forgot that this was recorded, but by placing it more at an angle, I guess like on the side compared to the middle, there's a chance where if they shoot out the frost mat or try to, they'll miss. The biggest tip I have for Maestro is you need to ban Brava. If you're going to play Maestro, having a Brava as a possibility of, going against you, never a good idea. You're just helping out the enemy team if Brava is not banned. But, secondary tip. Did you know that Maestro is able to reactivate Aruni gates? It takes 30 seconds for Aruni's gates to become unbroken, to get reactivated. Aruni and Maestro, W duo. But, top tier tip, ban Brava. If you don't, you're selling your team.
I was really excited to add this tip for Mozzi, but it was patched. I'm going to show it anyways because this is what I banked on, and it kind of works still, but I'm going to be honest, you're never going to use this in a real game. But let me show the interaction. The gist of this tech tip that you're never going to use in a real game is by combining Mozzi, Mute, and Alibi. You get a drone that's muted, and then you push it over the alibis by a drone that got Mozzi. This gets you an infinite scan. After the patch, you have to move it back and forth over 2 different alibis, so it's just ghetto. Don't do this, but it works. Alright, now I'm going to briefly go over Mute's rework. Before it was anything technical, Mute just cucked it and was like, hey, you're not going to be able to use this when you're around my Mute jammer. It was pretty OP. Technical things now only get jammed if there's some sort of connection involved. For instance, Thermite, he needs a connection between his breach charge and him basically blowing it up, right? Now, since the jammer is in between the signal, it doesn't work. But on the other side of this, Ace, there is no connection that's needed. He chucks this thing out, and Mute's jammer does nothing against it.
You can also use Mute to counter people like Lion, Deimos, Nook, Blitz, etc. Literally anyone who has an electrical type of ability. Place your Rook armor down. Place it down, please. Stop waiting for the last 10 fucking seconds of the fucking drones round to play. Tech tip 2, when you place your Rook armor on the ground, it makes it easier for attackers to steal it. Place it on something like this. Fuck you. When you're placing Cade's claws anywhere, try to place it as far back as possible. Here's a little measurement showing the farthest they can possibly go. Do this so then they have to get a perfect EMP to disable your Cade. Dubs. Now, once Siege X was released, they added a bunch of these fire canisters, right? Well, did you know, if you play Kapkan, you can one-shot one Kapkan kill people? Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty known. Pretty consistent as well, I'll say. I like doing this on Clubhouse.
I think it is the best map for the most Kapkan spots that you can place. So here's a few that I showed on screen, of spots where you can put a single Kapkan. And right now, I'm going to show 1 Kapkan, 1 kill.
Now, like in my attacker video, I'm going to do the same thing for Sentry as I did for Striker. There's nothing special necessarily about him. He just has 2 secondary gadgets, which, you're a pro. You know that already. I'm just going to give a brief overview on tips with choosing secondary abilities, for the different type of situations that you would use these secondaries in. Alright, first up we have deployable shields. Instead of placing them directly on doorways, you want to place them a little bit back to where you can peek the sides, but operators still have to mantle over the shields. Now for proximity mines, you want to place them in hidden spots, not just above a doorway. They're going to get seen, they're going to get shot out. Just put a little bit of thought into where you place them. Now this really sucks, but this was patched. I've seen this on Instagram, and I bet you have too, where you take a proximity mine and you chuck it at the C4, and then it launches it across the map, and then you get spawn kills. But sad to see it go. Now with C4s, when you go and throw one, you want to be running at the person that you're chucking a C4. It just lobs it a little bit farther. Yeah. There's two different ways that you can use barbed wire. Place the barbed wire where the attacker has to be out of position to break it, as they're in an awkward spot, and you're able to secure a free kill. The other way to use barbed wire is using it as a proximity alarm. The whole point of it is just to notify yourself that an enemy is near, and you won't really be able to swing off of it, but in the end, it'll waste time and it'll keep you alert. When using impact grenades, you can either use them to make rotates, or you can use them against shield players. When you hit a shield op with an impact grenade, their shield pops to the side, you know, and then you're able to kill them. Impacts are one of the top picks. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, I was recording this for the bulletproof camera, thinking, you know, this was gonna be the thing for bulletproof cameras, but they removed it. You're no longer able to stop breaches and stuff like that as it's in the middle of breaching. Sucks, but whatever. So now if you're going to use the EMP on the bulletproof camera, you have to use it before the breach or whatever they're using gets activated. Otherwise, it will not work for some reason. Also, the EMP charges pretty fast. It's like a second or two in between the recharging of the EMP compared to when the EMP ends, which is really nice. Now, the observation blockers are by far the worst secondary gadget that you can have. I never see anyone using these, and there's a reason why. They don't really do much. They really need to be changed, be buffed. They need something because they're just straight up bad. If you are going to run them for some reason, don't place them out in the open. They can be shot easily. Have the two sides, you know, on how they extend. Make sure the extended spots are out in the open, but then the actual device in the center is hidden.
Now, T-Bird is a basic operator. You know, she's got her heal stations, she's got her loadout, nothing too crazy that you can really do with her. So the tip for her that I'm going to be giving you guys today is if you're playing a site where they're possibly going to play Vert, or you know, there's the potential of them playing Vert, play T-Bird.
With people up on Vert, it makes it difficult for operators to go out of their way to help their teammates. With heal stations being around site, you know, it makes it easier for people to decide when they want to do stuff, you know, timing and stuff like that. You know, screw my tip, never mind. I would much rather have a heal station that I get to decide when I heal myself compared to having to knife and beg somebody to heal me. That might just be me though. Have you ever been that guy where you get cooked by a Glass and a Maverick on a hard breach? Well, I know I have. You know your way around this? Play Tubarao. You know how when you stand in Tubarao's ice thing, it makes it to where you're slow and you're like, because you're cold? Well, when Glass is in this, he does that, but he also has his thermal scope turned off. This is really good information to know. And with Tubarao's things lasting for about 12 seconds, that's over 30 seconds in the round where Glass and Maverick can't do anything, making it a 3v5, making it easy dubs. Whenever I'm going up against a Valkyrie, I like playing Brava. Reason is because people who place Valkyries, they usually just throw them somewhere. You know, they don't really think about what the Valkyrie is going to be covering. You know, they kind of just chuck it somewhere. When you're playing Valkyrie, literally the best tip I can give is try and put a little thought into where your Valkyries are being placed. Like, for instance, here on Border, this covers 2 floors and just a bunch of areas on where enemies can be at. Also, what you can do is throw a Valkyrie somewhere, bank a Valkyrie off of that Valkyrie, and you can find some insane spots using this info.
Now, don't get me wrong, I love playing Wamai, but people need to think more on where they put their Wamais. Too many times have I seen Wamais get placed near other gadgets. A grenade gets thrown, the Wamai picks it up, and it breaks everything, including the other gadgets around the Wamai. Can we please spread out Wamais and think before we place? One thing you can do with a Wamai, place Wamais near the pipes. The thing will be thrown near the pipe, and if it is an explosive, it'll blow up the pipe. Free kills. I love Wamai so much. I just wish people would be more smart when playing him. I really wish they would. Before you say anything, yes, I put Vigil at the end to get more watch time. I don't care. This was on purpose. I hate Vigil players. But while playing Vigil, if you didn't know, every single camera has one notification basically telling Vigil that there's a drone near. This only works once, so if you can't find the drone, get out of that area or they will see you. Why is the Vigil on my team always bad?